Okay, so I don't have a whole lot to go through. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. In either one of these, there's not a lot. But with next week is a different week as well, just on account of, first of all, it's only 4 days. And then when you look at Tuesday, a lot of you will be gone. And Thursday, a lot of you will be gone again. Okay? So what I would be led to believe, we will have time on Wednesday and Friday of next week is the next time that we have everyone here. Is that correct? I would think that's probably accurate. Okay. One of the things that we would like to be able to do, those of you who are here are going to have more opportunities for that, and that is to look at mammals actually over in the lab, and we'll see once what we can come up with. So your evaluation is tomorrow. I'll let you know how many terms that is over. And I am trying to presume, is this where we begin? Yes. Okay. So when we look at this, that's a really vague term that is from a long time ago. And when you see Gorgonopsid, what does that remind you of? It's a, well, could be. It's actually before them. It's one of your vocab terms. Yes, it had powerful jaws. It had multi-purpose teeth. But it was so fast. Why would it be fast? Something about its hips. Well, probably. Say that again? The legs are beneath the body. Yeah. It's when you look at amphibians and reptiles, their legs are more so splayed, which means they're out to the side. These are almost directly underneath their torso, and that gives them a better opportunity to be faster. Why would being fast be an advantage? Well, you outrun predators, but this one wouldn't have any problem outrunning predators because it was a top predator. So why would being fast be an advantage? Yeah, because you can actually chase down more food. Because when you look at these large raptors back here, okay, whether it's the Indominus rex, which we know isn't real, that comes from Jurassic World, but the other, of course, Tyrannosaurus rex, which is on there as well, but it's led to believe that that animal wasn't fast because it didn't have to be, because it was probably more so of an opportunist. Okay? Yes?
I think we should watch Jurassic World or Jurassic Park just because we're going over dinosaurs. Jurassic World better. We did that last year. Or like, we should went over mammals. We're learning about
We already went
mammals.
over dinosaurs. We had an idea, it just did not work.
Process.
Okay. So if therapsids were organized like this, if the skull had eye sockets with holes in the back, and it was a complete skull, that's not a therapsid. Well, it is, but it's the actual earlier version of another early mammalian descendant. Not therapsid, but rather what? Synapsid. That's right. Okay? When we're looking at this diversification of mammals, as you can see, we're talking about reproduction. Okay? So this would be an example of ovoviviparous. Okay? Because it's actually laying eggs and they develop outside the mother's womb then. And here we see, okay, giving birth to live young, okay? And if they're immature, what would that mean to you? An example of that would be marsupials, for instance. And who are marsupials? There's one. I guess we just ask one. Koalas is another. Remember, I can't spell it. Okay? And kangaroos was said already, and then the opossum as well. So what would be an example of this? Who are placentals then? Dogs are, yes. Who else? Horses, raccoons, any one of them are placentals. Yep, cattle, yep. And then one way to look at this, you could say almost like an umbilical cord, okay? Because, oh, I'm afraid we're going to fall asleep or, oh, okay. When we're talking about placentals, how do nutrients get to the offspring? Well, through the umbilical cord. How are waste removed? Through the same structure. Okay. All right. We're probably just about done with this. Maybe there's, I'm going to say 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. Is that right? Yep, 4. Okay, whoops, that's too far back. Okay. Endothermic is just the opposite of ectothermic. So when you look at the inside of a mammal, which our goal is to do this, okay, to be warm-blooded, you have to have lots of oxygen and lots of nutrients. And perhaps the way to approach this next week is those of you who are here, go over the internal anatomy of a mammal. And then for those that return, those that were here get to instruct those who were gone. That would be a way to look at that. I think that's just a different type of approach that we could do. Doesn't mean that we will. But, because some people will participate maybe and some won't, but we'll find out when we get there. As you are aware, we are winding down very quickly. Yes? No? Are we happy about that?
Very happy.
Okay. But just keep in mind, your parents may say the same thing. Don't grow up too fast. Okay? You have the rest of your life to make adult decisions. Okay? Whether it's for yourself or someone else. And hopefully, by being successful here, we'll pass that type of decision making along with your parents to you as well. Okay. So, how is it that animals or mammals can be warm-blooded? We said they have to have lots of oxygen and lots of nutrients. So how do they both get passed throughout the entire body? How does oxygen and nutrients get delivered to humans' cells or mammals' cells? Okay, a little more specific with the heart. The heart does the work, but has to pump something. Pumps the blood. Because if you remember from way long ago, okay, how does oxygen get into the bloodstream? You got to think about last August or September. Blood gases get into the blood because of this process of moving from a high concentration to a lower concentration. You're going to say, gosh, I knew that. Or you're going to hit yourself over the head and say, I knew that. I heard it already. But there is a D in it.
No.
Yeah?
Is that oh.
Yes, diffusion. Yeah. Moves from high to low. Okay? Water does the same thing, but it's a different process. But nutrients have to get in and out. It's a little more complex with facilitated diffusion, but yet still gets in and out of the blood. Okay. Humans' core body temperature has to be regulated pretty closely. Well, of course, mammals do as well. Now, if you're really good, just take a guess.
96 degrees.
No.
Wait, say that again?
He never said the question was a
Hmm? That's like buzzing in before the question was even read. Okay? All I said is if you're really good, and I heard 96 degrees. No. That's humans, and that's 98. Okay? Bovine blood. Oh gosh, I hope not. I hope not. You're going the wrong way.
110.
Then they might have just a slight fever. I would say it's about 107, 108 degrees, maybe 109 for bovine, okay? Compared to that of humans, which is around, again, 98 degrees. So, what is it? Is there some way on the inside of these animals to get rid of heat? Yes, other than sweating. Humans sweat too, but there's also another way that we dissipate heat. Well, you could do that, but it's where you look at someone's skin and you can see these. And especially in your wrists on the top side. Your veins start to pop out. Okay? Means they dilate. The reason that they dilate is if more blood from your core is getting up to the surface, it's going to move from warm to cool. That's how heat flows. It goes from hot to cold. It doesn't go the other way around, because if you have a hot cup of coffee here and you put your hand over the top, the coffee is not really getting colder. Your hands are going to get a lot hotter because the heat flows from hot to cold. Okay? So, sweating, okay, if I'm not mistaken, horses sweat, correct? I think so. Because the reason I say, well, of course they do, they're mammals, but pigs don't sweat. It's through swine don't, it's through their nose. But I do think that horses sweat, okay? Or with dogs or even with pigs, they'll start to pant. But especially if you can have a lot of blood come from your core to the surface, it'll dissipate that heat much easier, okay? So then, in order to do this, like we said earlier, you have to have large amounts of oxygen and nutrients to maintain that constant temperature. Why do we mean that? Because it takes a lot of energy to keep your body monitored in a stable temperature range. Is that in your way? Okay, we'll go over parts of this model, is this in your way? Okay. Just relax. Just
I
relax.
was like choking. I took a
Okay.
sip of water really wrong.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I want to get through, we'll talk about this here in just a moment. I want to get through this one, okay? And then, yeah, we'll wrap this up very easily. Okay. Because I have a visual aid here for you. Does everyone have this content that wants it? Okay. Because next week we'll probably be giving you some short answers, and if you have a lot of this wrote out, it makes it much, much easier for you to complete that. Now, we won't go into a whole lot of detail with this human model of a heart. We don't want it to be too totally overwhelming because, and again, for those of you who probably go on to take some more of these advanced classes, you just go a little further in depth. And you probably can answer some of those questions about the human heart, and we could say that that's a swine's heart. The actual pig's heart isn't that much different than that of a human heart. Whether it's the size, whether it's the chambers, or even the vessels coming out of there, it's very comparable to that of a human heart. Okay, and possibly sometime down the line, maybe 30, 40, 50 years, maybe it will be possible to not waste the heart of a pig and put inside of a human. Okay, then you wouldn't have to worry about heart transplants anymore. But it's on.
If you do that, you're not going to be able to eat bacon. Or, like, you're going to have to reproduce pigs more.
When you take the heart out of them and you slaughter them.
Okay, yeah, but if you're also just taking them to, okay, how many people? Yeah. No, okay, how many people
So again, we don't want to be too overwhelmed about the structure of this heart. So what could you tell me about the design of this heart? And you can look up here, but what do we know about what you see here as opposed to what you have wrote down? It's probably not as specific, okay? In other words, doesn't it say something about 2 atria and 2 ventricles? Okay, so where in the human heart, or a mammalian heart, okay, where are the atria, do you think? Are they up on top or are they down below? Because there's 4 chambers. The atria are on top, okay? Then the ventricles are below. Now, does blood flow backwards? No, it should not. It's not supposed to. Okay? And I use a sub pump as an example because sometimes I think that might make a little more sense. Or what does a valve do for some of you gearheads, if you want to call it that? Okay? Inside the pistons. Okay? Or you could say the number of valves in there, okay? How does the atomized, if you want to call it that, or just the fuel vapor, how does that get into the valve? Okay, well, in the morning then, okay? So, again, I had this paused, but Tuesday morning, just keep that in mind. I'll have them. If you want them, stop by. It just gives you a little more time. I know. We're all busy, but that's part of this type of year. when you're gone for track, it's a commitment that you made to be in track, but yet keep up with school. We just don't stop and do nothing because a lot of people are gone. We keep moving, okay? And then, again, we'll try to be in the lab on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have that paper for you. Thursday, again, a lot of you are gone. And Friday, we'll see how the rest of the week unfolds. All right, so that's all I have. We'll catch up to you next time.